Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I think as an outsider, you have the unique opportunity to not accept everything as a given because it isn't a given to you. Everything
Right.
is new to you. So you're gonna be like, why is it this way? But if you're born with it, you're gonna be like, of course it's this way.
It's this
Because
way.
this is how it's always been. This is human nature, obviously, but it isn't.
Right.
And keeping secrets from family members, I don't know how. I haven't talked to many Chinese people that have watched The Farewell. We're closing the circle a little bit, but I don't know how it feels to them. Maybe they watch the video and they're like, "What is this American Asian girl that can't really speak Chinese? What is she obsessing about?" They're totally right with the grandma. Like, don't tell her. She got like a half year to live. Why ruin it for her? What is this movie? It's terrible. Like she doesn't fit the standard of what an actress should be like. She doesn't really speak Chinese at all.
True. She was
Yeah,
like
and
she's like, "She doesn't look like a normal, like, actor." I'm like, "Who cares, Dad?"
well, I mean, they have their own kind of stars, and maybe they feel kind of offended. They're like, "Why didn't you pick like a real Chinese person? Why did it have to be this person that is really like audibly struggling with Chinese? You don't think
Mm.
we're good enough? Like our Fan Bingbing or Li Bingbing or some other Bingbing, they're not good enough for you. It has to be this American person." Well, and then the movie kind of tanks. But for Chinese Americans, I think it was very strong, and for me, it was a very strong movie. Obviously.
Oh, so good. It was so good. Like, it was better than,
Oh,
Crazy Rich.
Crazy Rich Asians. Ugh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. It's so much better. And I mean, it's not better than Parasite, I don't want to say, because Parasite was a masterpiece, but my goodness, The Farewell was one of the best movies I've seen in the past like 10 years, I would have to say.
What's wrong, Dad? Please tell me.
Your nan is dying.
She doesn't know, so you can't say anything. The family thinks it's better not to tell her.
Why is that better?
Chinese people have saying, when people get cancer, they die. We have to go to China.
Wedding is an excuse so everyone can see her.
He's my only cousin. Did you think I should be there?
You can't hide your emotions. If you go, 奶奶 will find out right away.
Billy 呀，咋啦？咋不说话呢？今天人多齐呀，好久没这么聚了，奶奶就等着这一天呐。来，大口咬，哇，哈哈哈哈哈！
你觉得我们应该告诉奶奶吗？
太痛苦了吧？
如果她想说再见呢？
你告诉她就毁了她美好的心情，你说对吧？
搭到她的肩膀上。你说我都怀疑我又不在，他俩在卧室能干啥呀？
Shouldn't we tell her? Isn't it wrong to lie?
It's a good lie. Most families in China would choose not to tell her.
你们说的啥呀？
她在英国学习，所以她会说英文。
结婚了吗？
She's dying. Can you be a little more sensitive?
What do you want from me? To scream and cry like you?
因为你把生命看成是个体的，这正是西方和东方的文化差异问题。东方人是把生命看作是集体的家庭。
I want to believe that's a good thing.
因为生活呀，不光是你去做什么，更是你如何去做。傻孩子！好多了，好多了，好多了，再来点气儿，再来点气儿。
Past like 10 years, I would have to say. I know, I thought it was so funny, like the little like things that they got. Like, remember that one scene when they were eating with the family, and like they were getting passive aggressive with each other. They're like, "Oh, China's so great now. Like, isn't it bad that you left and you're in America? Aren't there like guns in America?" And then she was like, "Well, aren't you sending your son to America for college?" And I just thought like that was very like realistic, because that's like exactly the kind of conversations you would hear. And all the
I
food.
felt so too. Yeah, I felt it was a very loving movie. Like it didn't tear anybody down. Like all the different characters with their own motivations, you could feel that the whoever made the movie loved them, and they have a conflict. But it's nice to watch something where it's not just cold, it's very warm. I like that. I enjoy that.
It was based on a true story too, so that's
Mhm.
like, yeah, I think the director's story about, and then she shot it in her own village, and that was when the real grandma first found out that all of this happened.
Whoa. Okay, I didn't know this detail. Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah.
And like, oh wow, you guys are hiding it from me. But then she was hiding it from her. Like, you know, it's so common. It's not like she was upset about it. So
Well, that is then yeah, cultural difference. Yeah.
exactly. But anyway, so super good conversation. You know, I think we covered like everything that we need to cover. Do you have anything else you would like to share?
I would like to make a final observation about this incident in that school.
Yes.
And that is that for whatever reasons, this tragic suicide of this kid made a ground for conspiracy theories and rumors. And you know, like people protesting, people posting all kinds of stuff online, and people forwarding stuff online. And these rumors have largely been debunked and stamped out, and it's kind of like cleaned up now because now we have the truth from the government. And I'm not putting it in quotation marks because I don't believe it. I actually believe it, but you know, they are really insisting on this being like a clean thing now. But the interesting thing is that now these conspiracy theories and rumors have been replaced with official conspiracy theories and rumors, because now the government is pushing the conspiracy theory that anybody who was involved in the protests and in online rumor campaigns is actually a sort of paid agent by some sort of maybe CIA or whatever, or a national, what is it, endowment for democracy, where the Americans are trying to kind of push a color revolution by fostering this local anger. Kid kills himself, CIA or whoever finds out about it, then pays a bunch of people to do an online smear campaign, then pays a bunch of people to go to the school and protest there. And they're actually saying, like, the people that were protesting at the school, they were not speaking Sichuanhua, they were speaking Putonghua. That means they're not from Sichuan, because Sichuanese people can only speak Sichuanhua. And that means they're paid by the Americans because the Americans want a revolution, which when you look at it, you're like, I really liked the original organic conspiracy theories better than this.
Right.
Because the original ones, you can debunk them.
Right.
But this one, you cannot debunk it. It's like, this is what is going to stay from it. This guy died, and he created so much damage for himself and everybody around him. And now what he's going to be connected with is some ugly conspiracy theory about the CIA wanting to make a revolution out of this high school. It's really just shit.
And you know why they say that, right? The Chinese accuse America of doing this stuff because they do this here. So they actually pay people in New York, and they'll bust them to, like, you know, to protest at certain people's homes, to protest certain organizations, and they'll pay them to do it. So they do it here. So that's why it's so easy for them to come up with that story of Americans doing it over there, because they do it here. You know?
I get that. I get what you're saying, but I don't think these two things are entirely comparable, because the Chinese, they're not paying protesters in order to subvert the American system. Like, they would never think of starting a revolution in China. They pay people in order to kind of make the CCP look good, or make a dissident or Tibetans or Uyghurs or anybody look bad. But it's always about them. But this conspiracy theory is kind of like, Americans really think that some random kid in a high school killing himself is going to be enough for them to start a revolution that is going to topple the CCP, and they're going to send some busloads of people that can't speak Sichuanhua to the gate of the school to make a protest. What are these people smoking? And this is what you're dealing with then. If you're a student in that school, then you're not allowed to talk to outsiders. Outsiders are being grabbed by the police if they protest at the gate. They're being maybe grabbed or taken to tea if they have posted anything online. You're in danger of also becoming one of them if you're just sharing what is going through your head as a student who is being entirely traumatized by this whole thing. And outside, they're telling you it's a CIA thing. and they're trying to topple the government. Like, what is that going to do to these kids? You know, what is that going to do to anybody? It's terrible.
It really
And
is.
this is really where it gets very, very toxic. And we're not even talking about just cultural differences where you can say, like, it is not malicious to keep certain truths from people if you have good intent because you don't want them to hurt. It is not malicious. It might be detrimental and damaging, but you didn't intend for it to be that way. But the government doing this kind of shit is just terrible. It's just like, I look at it and I'm like, guys, like, really? Like, good job at making China worse.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's obvious why they want to do this too, because they just don't want Chinese people to have the conversation about like about perhaps too much stress on kids, reforming
Yes.
the system. They just don't want
Yes.
them to focus on that. So it, have like focus on something else completely insane, like a Donald Trump kind of move, right?
Yes,
Like focus
exactly.
on
Yeah,
something else.
that's a very good point. Yeah, it's the whole deflection and then like a counterattack. Yeah, it's the Trump thing. Like, you accuse me of something, I'm gonna deflect and then accuse you of the same thing and just be like totally over the top, and you'd be like, how can you even say this? But at this point it's already too late, because that's what
Right.
everybody's talking about. And this is China. Yeah, and I think they're wreaking terrible damage on these young people, and not only on the young people, but they're just I was thinking about this today. I'm sorry I'm being like so wordy.
No, I love it. I love it.
I was thinking about this today. Do Chinese people trust the government? We always get told they do, because there's always polls and there's always opinion pieces and there's always some sort of evaluations about how much the Chinese people trust their government, especially in the wake of how well they handled COVID and everything. I think they trust the government when things are going well. And it's really easy to trust the government when things are going well, because, it's kind of like there's this friend of yours that is providing you with good shit and the sun is shining and you're like, well, that's a good friend. But that's not the definition of a friend. The definition of a friend is like kind of like when it's maybe not going so well, do you still kind of think like, well, he means nice and, he's getting his shit together. That's your friend. Maybe even like he's really doing very bad, but still it's your friend. I don't think Chinese people really trust the government. I think they once it impacts themselves, they feel like they really don't want this. They don't want the in transparency. They don't want the repression. They don't want the cult. They don't want the unfreedom. They don't want any of these things. These things were okay when the weather was good and the sun was shining and they were like, hey, I'm middle class now and maybe I'll be upper class. My kid is going to go to Harvard. Yes, then that's when it was good. And if you ask them, are you happy with the government? They'd be like, yeah, sure. But as soon as you're impacted by anything negative, Chinese people really don't trust the government. And I think they're right not to trust them. And I think the government doesn't trust them either. And it's a society that is entirely unhealthy because of that. And what we're seeing now, sadly, in Europe and the States is large parts of society also kind of being that way. Like, we were talking about before, when people don't believe that the current president is the president, then you have kind of a situation where it's very difficult to deal with them and have a social fabric.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, definitely. I mean, I have hope for Germany, Europe, and the UK and America. I think we're going to pull out of this whole populism thing. The further
it would
away,
be awesome. Really.
I mean, I think we will. But yeah, China's a much bigger problem because like even if they get democracy, it's like you need to have democracy's messy, right? So you need to have like a certain foundation and like caliber of like spirit to like even be able to like function in a democratic society. So I don't know, the China question is so tough. Like we can point to all the issues that they have, and like I mean I can't even give you one prediction of where I think China's let alone.
No. You better never never give any predictions, I think, with China.
Right, like it could like they could dominate the world, or they could go crashing down tomorrow. Like who knows really, right?
Yes.
So yeah, so that's our somber and serious, depressing show today. I mean, we definitely covered a lot of like darker
Yeah, I'm
topics.
sorry.
No, but I think they should be covered, right? Like this tragic thing happened, and I'm glad we're discussing it, and I'm glad that we're shedding you're shedding, Lale, a lot of light on Chinese society, and hopefully some of them will watch it and they'll be able to internalize it, and like make one person's life better, and that's really what it's all about, right? You just that one person.
Or they will refute it, and then my life will be better because I will understand that this stuff that I was mansplaining was wrong, which is always a pleasure.
I don't think you mansplain. You're awesome. So no, so I mean you're awesome, and so we'll leave it at that because same time next Thursday, same time, same place. Thunder strikes twice. And Lale will not be mansplaining. He will be awesome as usual, and we'll be doing Clubhouse, I think, tomorrow. So if you could join us at Clubhouse, that would be awesome too. So
what time are we on?
Same time as last time. Was it 1 o'clock? 1 p.m.
Right.
Eastern.
Cool. I'm there.
I'll double check, but I'll make the banner and everything. So awesome speaking with you, Christoph. Hope the cats are great. Hope the little girl's great. Send her my love, and
I will.
Have a great day. And bye to our audience. Bye.
Bye, Todd.